When did you start writing Sailor Ted?
Started writing about 3 years ago. It was an idea I'd had for years, but obviously I decided 3 years ago. I'd moved over to the island probably 6 years ago permanently. Used to weekend here and thought, fine, I've got to do something. I'd sort of retired a bit too early perhaps and thought, right, I'll start up Sailor Ted.
Now, rather than go to a publisher with an idea, you didn't do that. You decided to publish yourself, didn't you? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I obviously studied it quite a bit, and I bought, various writers' handbooks, children's writers' handbooks, and I saw the chances of getting a publisher to actually publish it was about 1,000,000 to 1. So I decided that I could afford to go down the route of actually doing it all myself. And that's what I decided to do. And plus the fact I had complete control over it. And also we'd registered Sailor Ted as a trademark. It took a long time to go through, about 18 months. But, I wanted complete control over the character. And the only way to do that is to do it yourself, as opposed to let somebody else get their hands on it.
But that means you need things like illustrators, designers,
yes,
printers, etc. How much have you been able to keep the work on the island?
The first illustrator we used was Joanne Hummel-Newell, I think her name is, and she was an island person, been to university, qualified illustrator. And then we started using White 365 for all the layout of the book. And we used a firm over on the West White to actually print the book. So the first time round, everything was kept on the island. Nothing went off the island at all, except for the cuddly toys that were produced in China. I couldn't afford to produce them in England. Go bankrupt.
How did you go about marketing that first book?
We used a distributor on the island, did book signings at Waterstones, and just really, to some degree, the first time round we played at it. We didn't put enough effort into it. It wasn't a matter of life and death, and we just thought, fine. We thought we'd find it a bit easier than what we actually did. So we learnt quite a good lesson. The second time round, what we're going to do is to do a lot of the distribution work ourselves, or assist the distributor completely, by doing promotional work. And also we feel the second book is even better than the first book, and we should get quite a bit of publicity from it. And a few island people have actually come in and said, yes, we'd love to do Sailor Ted Days. For example, Isle of Wight Zoo, that actually features quite strongly in the book, has said, yep, we'd like to be involved in promoting Sailor Ted at the zoo. So yeah, we feel we're going to get a lot more publicity this time round. It's going to be solely island focused. We will be obviously talking to Waterstones, the main book chain on the mainland, but the main thrust will be island based this time round. Tourist industry, very important, because a lot of people coming over here are looking for something that they can actually relate to the Isle of Wight, and Sailor Ted obviously being based on the island, and with all the places actually existing, they can all relate to that. So they've got that memento for as long as they want. The first story was based on the island. I think we went over to Forley, to the oil refinery, on the inshore rescue lifeboat, but everything else was based on the island. And the beauty of it is we do a map so that children can actually follow the story on the map, no problem at all. And we've had emails to this effect of parents that have gone back to the mainland after their holiday, and they've said, my son loved it, he could follow the story completely. And we even had somebody from Cumbria who was over on the island on holiday, and I was walking the dog at Newtown, and they said, is that Ruby the Airedale in Sailor Ted? And I said, yes it is. They said, oh, we got the book sent up to us from somebody on the island, and we love it, and my son's absolutely mad about Ruby, and they insisted that we all pose for a photograph together.
So obviously readers enjoy the fact that they're real locations.
They do, yeah. It's very different. Normally children's books are all about make-believe. We've actually tried to go totally differently and say, this is the place and this is where it happened, and you can actually visit these things. You can go on the open-top bus up to the Needles and this type of thing, just to give it, you know, that people can follow in the footsteps of Sailor Ted.
So where did you get your ideas for the stories from?
After much dreaming, which I'm very good at, I'm a daydreamer par excellence, I just dreamt them up and then gradually refined them, wrote them down in picture form, and then we, like the tabloid newspapers, we, you know, make the words fit the pictures. But we try to get, in a book, we would aim to get 2,000 to 2,200 words in the book and 24 illustrations.
Very good. So I know the island is the set for the books, obviously, but do you think living on the island has helped your creativity?
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, yeah. It's just a beautiful place. I feel very lucky, you know, to live over here. Fantastic. Where we lived previously in Sandwich was as flat as a pancake. Hills didn't exist. There was the odd hillock on the golf course, and that was it. You could see for miles anywhere. And here you've got so much beautiful scenery. And yeah, you can easily get storylines when you live over here because there's so many different things on the island. It's just one great big melting pot.